Hi, I'm Ron Bankey with the Saltwater Angler. Today I want to talk about one of the ways that the guides and a lot of the fishermen are using this time of the year with live bait and dead bait, depending on whether they're fishing for trout or if they're fishing for redfish or drum. But they've been using these Alameda floats a lot. And I wanted to kind of show you how to hook these up so you don't throw them off every time you cast. One thing I want to talk about first is always use a leader. I use a 20-pound leader with a swivel and a wide gap hook for my shrimp or live shrimp, dead shrimp, or your croaker, your perch, whatever you're going to use. I use a leader just so it doesn't get broken off every time you get around the rocks or caught up on something. So that's the first thing I do. And usually they're about 14 inches long. And when I use an Alameda rattling float, I always use it about 16 inches to 2 foot deep of your bait below the carp. So I'm going to show you right here how to set these up. And the first thing you do is you put your line down through the, I hope you can see this, down through the groove in the carp. And then you take it and wrap it clockwise around the top of your carp, and then snap it back in the top. And the bottom you do counterclockwise, and then you click it down into the carp. And that way it stays on there when you cast it. Now there are ways to do it. If you want to use a longer leader, you can use a 2 foot leader and just put the carp right onto the leader and let it slide up and down, and when you have it where you want it, then it will stop at the swivel. So you can use the carp where it's free floating and where it'll stop against the swivel, or you can hook it up just like I've done right here. Now these things, I want you to hear how they rattle, because I haven't rattled it yet, but you can see why that excites those fish. And it works almost as good with a artificial bait as it does with live shrimp. The difference is that you use a lead head instead of a wide gap hook, and then you hook your lead head up on your artificial bait just like such, and then you have it hanging down. You have it hanging down below your carp. This is the most popular way of fishing this time of year, and you might notice that most of the guides are mentioning the fact that they're catching their fish under a popping carp, which is basically has turned into an Alameda rattling carp for all practical purposes this time of year. Give it a try, but make sure you get them wrapped around the top and snap back in, so you don't lose them when you cast them. Because if you don't snap them back in on the carp, the first time you cast them, they'll go flying out in the water, and it'll be a couple of bucks down the tubes. Okay, well that just about wraps up the Alameda rattling carp. So if you want to get out there and try to catch some fish in shallow water, use it closer to the shrimp. In the deeper water, just off the edge of the rocks, make it a little deeper. Get it down about 2 foot or so below the carp, and I think you'll do really well with it.